Rana Foroohar joins me now. The issue, the position of CEOs as the leaders with moral compasses. Do you buy it?
Well, it depends on what kind of morality you're talking about. And the problem is that that's really subjective, right? I mean, we've seen CEOs speaking out in recent months and years about everything from gun control to LGBT rights to trade issues. And people on the left, Democrats in the U.S., tend to like this. Conservatives, not so much. I think it's risky for CEOs. I really do. I guess the issue is that it's easier in some ways than dealing with some of the economic issues they're facing.
Do they have any choice, though, these CEOs? Because stakeholders, to use that horrible word, stakeholders require it. Employees, shareholders, investors, customers. I'm thinking Howard Schultz, Starbucks, and the whole question over the two customers being asked to leave because of race.
Absolutely. I mean, you're pointing out a great example. Starbucks absolutely had to address that issue, is addressing the issue. And it's interesting because Starbucks has been trying to grapple with issues of race, gender for a long time. It's had ups and downs with that. But you're right. There is a new group of millennial consumers that demands this of companies. There is a group of asset managers. BlackRock, a big asset manager, has come out and said, we expect companies to look at more than just share price. We want them to be socially engaged. We want them to care about their communities. So there is more and more pressure, but CEOs I talk to are saying, what's the metric? How are we being judged? I think that there's a lot of confusion for them.
They're being judged by doing what is seen to be right, even though it's controversial or potentially controversial. I'm thinking particularly, for example, of President Trump's immigration policies, which some saw as a Muslim ban. The issues on where it was the Satya Nadellas and it was the tech companies. Perhaps, Rana, I'll grant you before you say it, enlightened self-interest with HB1 visas, but they still stood out for their employees on immigrants.
Yeah, and I think that companies are going where the marketplace is. Certainly, there is some enlightened self-interest, as you say. For tech companies in particular, immigration is a huge issue, although it has to be said, half of the Fortune 500 has either founders or CEOs that are in some way immigrants or first generation connected to immigrants. So this is a big deal growth-wise in this country, and I would expect to see companies speaking out on it. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes, though, because, again, immigration is one issue, but there are other riskier issues that CEOs are getting involved in.
Such as?
Well, I think that when folks go for things like gun control, for example, which is more an issue that the left would agree with, that's something that they can run into problems with in conservative states. I see companies that have a very particular market, say a younger market, a more liberal market, being more able to deal with these issues more easily than, say, a Walmart, which might be a conservative company anyway, but a company that has a big national base and has to avoid stepping on toes.
But in the vacuum of silence, where government doesn't seem to be leading, religious leaders either can't, won't, or no one listens, and all the normal avenues of moral compass have gone. My thesis is the CEO is the new moral barometer.
Well, it's interesting because, as you well know, trust in institutions of all kinds has fallen since 2008. Trust in government, trust in media, trust in business, but business has fallen off the least. So I think you may be onto something in a sense of, in a world without too much trust, CEOs still have more than many other people.
We trust you. In God we trust. Thank you.
Thank you.